Oh, all right, here he is.
Hey,
He's
I'm
back.
sorry about that. Internet cut out for a second.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Cool. Well, I will turn over the floor to you, and I will drop off behind the curtain.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So hi everyone. Thanks for having me today. I'd just like to say thank you to Moonbeam for putting on this conference. It's been quite the show. A lot of amazing speakers there the last couple of days, and a lot of great talks. So I hope you all have been enjoying it. So I'll get right into my presentation today. So it's on the growth in DeFi through community and education. Okay. So to introduce myself, so my name is Justin Silva. So I'm the CMO of Beamswap. So Beamswap is a decentralized exchange on Moonbeam. We launched on day one, and it's been a long, year building some amazing things, building community, as well as some amazing development on the ecosystem. And that's really what my focus on my talk is going to be about today. So we'll jump right into it. So obviously, the main key point of this. So why is community important? I think a lot of aspects to this can be a little bit staggering. When people look at community, they like to think of it as like, what really is your community? Users is some of the things that people will look at it as being your community, but truly to me, in the sense of what a real community is for your aspects of what your project's delivering, is when you really have the users that are engaging every day, whether that be in your Telegram, following your socials, the people using your platform, but as well as supporting you. And I think that's really when you get that support aspect into it, that's what really differentiates the difference between an actual user and then a community-based user. Driving into the next point is, why is education important? So obviously education when it comes to blockchain or any tech in general is very important. You have a lot of barriers where people necessarily don't understand what they're using, or there's just a lot of features or aspects to it that people aren't aware of. So when you tie in the tech and everything that you're building and then key into the education aspect of it, but not just present it in a way where it's too technical to the point where the user can't understand it, but more of a digestible nature, where users can actually understand what they're talking about, and then that allows them to really grasp the concept and feel more comfortable about what they're doing. And that's really why education is really an important aspect to everything that we do, not just with our projects, but the whole ecosystem as a whole. So one of the main things is like, how can you actually build a stronger communities through education and value? So this is a big thing, I think, that is really important when it comes to not just building your project, but building a whole ecosystem as a whole. I truly believe that an ecosystem is only as powerful as its community. And through education and really adding the value aspects to your community members, it gives them the ability to further educate not just themselves, but educate other users, and then other people in the industry as well. When you're giving that value to their education where they feel like they're getting something that's helping them on a daily basis, weekly basis, whatever that be, it just makes them more intrigued not only to support you, but it makes them feel stronger as an individual, which empowers them to do more in sense of, talking about you or just utilizing not just the features on your platform, but on the whole ecosystem. Because when people feel like they understand something, they feel more obligated to go out there and really reach out what is actually going on. So on to the next aspect of it when it comes to community, and that's really what comes down to it, is the tools you actually use to grow your community, to facilitate your community. There's a lot of ways you can do this. I guess if you flash back to the past, a lot of the tools you use, there was a lot of flaws that came into play. So the biggest thing I find when you're working with your community, when you're building it, is there's a slip in between the cracks. So whether that's you're running contests, into incentivizations on anything you're doing. A lot of the issues with bots, whether it be bots or programs, Gleam's a very good example. People use these types of programs essentially to drive in users, to drive campaigns, to drive people into their ecosystem, to essentially try and use it. But there's flaws with it. And the biggest one, in my opinion, is the flaw of bots, spam, scam, a lot of those things that kind of devalue what you're trying to do to, incentivize your community, but more just provide them an aspect of incentivization where they feel valued. But when you're running these types of contests and, it's just constantly spammers and scammers coming in, flooding it, it makes these type of users that are actually in your community not want to participate, and it's not as engaging. So when you actually take other tools that into play that allows you to track and monitor, you can take this to another level. Some tools, that you can utilize. One of our main partnerships that we've had lately is one with Airlift. So it's a prime example of how you can utilize Web3 tools to not only engage your community, but providing value to your community by incentivizing actions that are actually verified through Web3 wallets, where you can track actions and actually verify that it's them doing it, as well as other anti-spam features that monitors IP addresses and other things that kind of hasn't been able to have been done in the past. And there's other tools out there as well, such as Project Galaxy, that allow you to do things like this in another way. But bringing these types of features to your community, where you're actually rewarding the users that are actually engaging and doing these tasks that you're asking them to do, whether that be following or conducting a transaction or just any action on your dApp. It's ways that you can actually reward the users that are actually there and not just random people that are trying to spoof the system. And I think that's a big issue that we've witnessed. Like in many years, there hasn't been many tools or aspects that you're able to, monitor those types of things as well as control those types of things. Other tools and resources that are utilized and like help you grow and just manage your community, such as social media tools, Hootsuite being one of them. When you're monitoring, when you have a community, the best thing that you can do is really engage with them. Having the ability to listen and engage just really drives you to the next level in sense of actually letting them feel like they're being heard. And also it allows you to develop, from the people that are actually participating and using your platform. And that's why really utilizing tools is one of the most important things when it comes to growing, building, and then just facilitating your community, because it allows you to do it efficiently and effectively. So moving on to the next slide, we're going to get down into the aspects of how does Beamswap capture its users through its community value features. Now, there's a lot of things that we use to essentially incentivize on our platform to get people in. There's a lot of features that we're going to be including now that aren't even necessarily here yet. One of the things that I just mentioned is the partnership that we made with Airlift. One of the things that we'll actually be doing is including quests onto our dApp that will allow people to kind of more explore and engage with what's going on our dApp and interact with different features. And then what it'll do is reward them for actually making those actions so that the user is actually getting incentivized to learn, which is a great way to get new users in active on the platform and really build your community. One of the things that we've done over the past couple months to facilitate these types of incentives into our platform is holding weekly swap talks. Communicating with your community is a great way, in my opinion, to really listen to the people who are using it, whether that be a daily basis, a weekly basis, or a monthly basis, and actually listen to what their opinions are. Every week we listen to our community, whether that be myself or our business developers. We're in there an hour every week, at least minimum, and we engage with our users and listen to the things that not only they want, but what they're seeing in the ecosystem, what's exciting them, what they're looking for. And this allows us to not only shape how we build our platform, but who we're working with as well, based on partnerships or just other features we can kind of bring into the platform to make it more engaging for the user. And I think that type of thing is really important in the sense of really developing the product that your users and community is going to use, and then that'll allow you to continuously grow. So moving into some of the features that we have, first off, I like to point out our swap for gas page feature, which is one of the newest features we released to Beamswap. It's called Gas Pump. What it allows you to do essentially is bring any token that's supported on our platform and swap it for Glimmer for gas, so you don't have to worry about utilizing whether that be centralized exchanges to get in Glimmer, like what we've had to deal with a lot for the primary portion of the year, especially with everything going on in the whole everything going on with blockchain in general, with FTX and all. This type of feature really gives them that bridge to allow to not have to use a centralized exchange to come over here. And the ease of allowing users to come onto your platform, use it, get in there, get the tokens they need to start exploring further into Moonbeam per se. It's the type of thing that's needed for mass adoption and on-ramping new users, not only from other ecosystems, but new users into crypto in general. Another feature that we've recently integrated, now we've always had the multi-chain bridge integrated into our platform. However, as of recently, we decided to fully integrate the multi-chain bridge into our DEX and adapt so that we can essentially allow any user to move any asset that Multichain supports from any network that they support. So essentially making it a one-stop shop for bridging incentive on the multi-chain aspect of things. Now, by doing this, eliminates the ability for these users to then have to go onto another platform to then have to do their bridging. They can do everything directly from Beamswap, which keeps them on Moonbeam and end-to-end allows you for further opportunity to move the user elsewhere. And I think these types of features are very important because everyone knows one-stop shops are generally what everyone's looking for in sense of that hub, which is what we're focused on being, which is why we brand ourselves as the DeFi hub on Moonbeam, as we really want to be that place that you can access every key feature that you need to do with DeFi outside of the apps growing around us. And really what we're trying to do is connect ourselves as a central hub for everything, and then we branch off with all of our partnerships and offer the services that they do outside of it. So moving on, another feature that one of my favorite features personally actually is the portfolio page. Now what this does is it takes a full snapshot of all the essentially, whether that be staking, farming, and other aspects of your crypto assets on our platform and puts it all into one place. Obviously, time is of an essence for some people, so speed and convenience is one aspect why I really like this page. But another reason why is it gives a full snapshot of everything you're doing on our app. So whether that be, farming somewhere, staking, or just holding your assets, you have a full snapshot view of everything going on. So you don't have to go from page to page. And, it just, one, it cuts back on time, but two, it really adds a convenience factor to everything you're doing. Because when I'm a spreadsheet person myself, I like to see everything in front of me all laid out nice and clean. And this type of feature really adds extra value to our users in sense of, we're not just here to do swaps. We're here to add more value than that as well. So moving on, we go into our analytics dashboard. Being in digital advertising, I'm a very analytical person. For the analytical dashboard, it really gives you a more data-driven aspect of things. If you really want to see the pairs, trading, the flow and volume of everything, you can hop in there and really see it all. Again, it's just an added feature that we brought onto our platform so that users don't have to go elsewhere to get this information and features, making it, again, a one-stop shop aspect of things. When it comes to building community and providing value to those users, this is the type of value that we're trying to drive towards them so they can really get everything and more out of what they're doing in the experience. So one of the last features I'll be talking about is the advanced trading and portfolio feature, customization with our pictures as well on our platform. So advanced trading was something we integrated there a couple months ago. Essentially what we've done is we've integrated the trading view charting tool directly onto our dApp. So for those users who like to do their charting, they have the ability to do it right beside their swap feature, as well as the top token bar right across it. So what we've really done here is trying to add a more robust experience that allows for traders that like to do their charting to have that ability to do it right on our platform. So again, they're not having to go somewhere else to do something. They can all do in one place. And by doing all these things, it really adds, the aspect of nature of really giving people a place where they can come and feel that they have everything there so they don't have to leave the ecosystem, right? And because really the whole point is we're trying to keep people here on Moonbeam so they don't have to go elsewhere. But not only once they're here, we're trying to drive them to other places with our partnerships. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about here is our portfolio customization picture, which we added in. Now what that does is it allows users to add a portfolio picture to their page there. And essentially what we can do is it can be any NFT that you're using, any picture on your computer. And what we're slowly integrating is with our partnerships and communities is the aspect to pretty much pull in an NFT that we've done with our partners, and that you can essentially just select it. So right now we have Rare Som as our partnership up there, and if you have a Gromlin per se, it'll pull up your Gromlin. You can click it, it automatically uploads it. Now this might seem like a small feature to some people, and it's not the biggest deal in sense of adding extra value to your trading. However, it adds an ability of customization, which when you get down to the community value aspect of things, a lot of people do like to have the personalization on things. And when you do this type of small features, there's a lot of platforms in the past that have been very successful just based on customization, MySpace being one of them. I know it's a thing of the past, but one of the things people really loved about MySpace was the fact that you can take it and make it your own. So what we're trying to do is just make these small changes and small feature upgrades to the platform that really allow users to make it their own. And this is actually some of the things that we've been recommended directly from our users, and we actually integrated after the fact. So moving on, though, we will get into essentially the final touch, and that's utilizing your tools and listening. Value in education essentially builds strong communities, and strong communities build strong ecosystems. Everything that we've done, well, when that's building Beamswap as a whole, it's always been focused around the community. Our community is the heart and soul of everything, whether that just be taking feedback or just moving forward. We built a lot of strong partnerships revolved around community. So TFA Alpha being one of them. We've brought them in, and they're a really strong community with a lot of core users on the platform. And really that's what we're looking for. Rare Samas and their whole community, they've been great. There's just loads of users out there really passionate and dedicated about the ecosystem. Now, essentially when it comes down to it, if you want to contact Beamswap in any way, we have here's a list of our website, our Twitter, our Telegram, our Discord. Our community members are very active. We have a lot of great mods that are there to answer your questions. I'm always active in the chat as well. So if you do have any other questions, in sense of that, we do have the ability to answer anything you have in regards to our platform, some of the features we have, as well as a lot of developments that are coming forward. One of the things that we're working on right now that I think is going to drive a lot of value, not just for our users, but the ecosystem as a whole, is we're working on a referral program, which essentially will piggyback off of our educational quests. So we're really focused on not only just driving in users, but we're driving in users to educate them and get them using the whole ecosystem as a whole, not just our platform. We realize as a DEX that we're a central spot where people come in to do their swaps, but as a whole, if no one knows what else is going on in the ecosystem, they're just going to leave. So what we really try to do is drive the value beyond us and really feature what's going on in the ecosystem through education and value to our community. And that's really where we just strive to continue to grow throughout the rest of the year, throughout next year, building strong partnerships, developing great tech, and really just working towards, building a great Moonbeam ecosystem. And I guess if anyone has any questions now, if you have any comments, you can follow up in the chat, and I'd be happy to answer anything.
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, thank you so much, Justin. I don't see any questions in there. I like the feature of being able to have kind of like a profile and stuff like that. I agree with the customization's nice, to be able to kind of feel like you have like a place that you can call your own kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Awesome. Well, Justin, thank you so much for hopping on today. It was great, and good luck with all the all the building and the success you guys have had so far.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me, and great conference, guys. It was an amazing experience, a lot of information.
Awesome. Have a great weekend. Thanks again.
You too. Bye.